What's going on, guys? This is your boy John the Liquidator coming back with breaking news. So it looked like Kelsey Plum just gave us a critical update on the current status of the WNBA. Guys, for this one here, we got to go down to Florida. Let's get it. Let's go. We got to jump right into this story right now, man. So today is March the 2nd, dog. We officially have 8 days left before these ladies basically be forced to go on strike. Kelsey Plum spoke with Alessa Philippou this morning. News is steady coming out of the pipeline from her in regards to her conversation.
No revenue to share. That single chilling statement from Kelsey Plum just detonated the WNBA's fragile peace. The words hung in the air, a stark admission echoing from the highest ranks of the Players Association. Fans immediately erupted, seeing it not as an honest assessment, but as a devastating surrender, a candid reveal that undermined the very leverage players believed they held. It wasn't just a misstep, it was an earthquake, shaking the foundations of ongoing CBA negotiations and leaving everyone wondering if the season was already doomed. The fallout was instantaneous, brutal, and completely unforgiving.
Obviously, a strike will be the worst thing for both sides. As of right now, I believe the owners is forcing the players to strike. I don't believe that they're finna go out there and give them another deal. I think it is what it is. It went on to say, Kelsey Plum stated, because we are in a revenue share system, so no revenue to share. So based off that, I think Kelsey Plum is possibly starting to realize it ain't no damn revenue to share. At the end of the day, it's just
Kelsey Plum, the first vice president of the WNBPA, delivered this critical update from the front lines of the collective bargaining agreement talks. Today is March 2nd, meaning these ladies have a mere 8 days left before they could be forced into a strike, a drastic measure looming large over the entire league. Her words, spoken to a less than thrilled audience, were meant to provide clarity, but instead they ignited a firestorm of controversy, pushing the WNBA to the brink of an unprecedented crisis.
Strike is the last and worst thing they want to do. Here's a novel idea. Take the deal. What are they waiting on? It doesn't look like a better offer is coming. I have to agree with that comment. I don't believe there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel with the revenue sharing part of it, guys. I just cold-heartedly believe that the owners do not have the money to share. One commenter said a strike hurts the WNBPA more than the WNBA. Kelsey Plum, the WNBA can pivot to replace players.
Her initial message seemed straightforward. I want to play and players want to play. She emphasized that a strike would be the worst thing for both sides, a sentiment everyone could theoretically agree with. She even stated that the players would continue to negotiate and do everything we possibly can to get this deal done in a timely fashion. It sounded like a call for unity, a desire to find common ground before the clock ran out, but then came the twist.
Delusional WNBA. Yeah, man, so there has been a growing notion that replacement players could possibly be coming. As of right now, we cannot confirm that replacement players are coming, but it's looking really, really spooky right now for the WNBA as we inch closer to that deadline date of the 10th of March, man. The owners laid it out what their game plan was. They said the 11th hour is coming. And as of right now,
the devastating addendum that followed changed everything. Plum continued, because we are in a revenue share system, so no revenue to share. This wasn't just an explanation, it was perceived as an admission of financial weakness, a stark acknowledgement that perhaps the WNBA simply doesn't generate enough income to meet player demands for a larger share. This single phrase became the lightning rod, drawing immediate and furious backlash from all corners of the league.
It don't look like the players are gearing up to sign a deal. I believe this thing could go past the 10th, and they're going to be a lockout, bro. It's just that simple. Now, Annie Kosovo reported on this too. I wonder where she's talking at. It got to be coming from somewhere. Let me see if I can track down some of the footage of Kelsey Plum talking here. It might not be out yet. Let's just see. We haven't really heard from Kelsey Plum. I believe she's planning Unrivaled this year.
The comment sections immediately exploded. One user slammed Plum directly, stating, "Plum, the sentiment was clear. Her perceived lack of understanding or strategic gaffe was seen as a direct contributor to the player's precarious position. It suggested a deep-seated frustration with the WNBPA's negotiation tactics, questioning their competence and leadership at a critical juncture."
CBA will have tons of leverage is they have more than one player who is a big revenue generator. At this point, they only have one. If Kelsey Plum had a career-ending injury today, that would be no significant hit to any bottom line in the WNBA. Yeah, man. So Kelsey Plum has spoke. She has spoken, and don't look like very much other news is coming out. What's this right here? It goes on to say, "We're going to continue to negotiate and do everything we can."
Another commenter offered a blunt, almost exasperated piece of advice. "Here's a novel idea. Take the deal. What are they waiting on? It doesn't look like a better offer is coming." This reflected a growing impatience among some fans, who felt the players were holding out for an unrealistic outcome, further fueling the narrative that their demands were out of touch with the league's financial realities. The pressure mounted, pushing the WNBPA into an even tighter corner.
Right now, but I'm not saying anything that's telling me that they're going to sign this deal, which is very, very concerning if you're a WNBA fan, because today's the 2nd. They got about 8 days, bro. Somebody said Kelsey Plum is a dumbass. I don't know, man. It look like people is definitely not feeling what Kelsey Plum had to say. Well, she's going to be trending in the algorithm right now because she's the first person to break her silence in the month of March as to the current state of the negotiations, dog. I don't know. This is going to be...
The core of the issue, many argued, was simply the money itself. "I just cold-heartedly believe that the owners do not have the money to share," one fan stated, cutting straight to the heart of the revenue-sharing dilemma. This perspective suggests that no matter how hard players negotiate, if the league's coffers are not deep enough, there's a hard limit to what can be achieved. It painted a bleak picture of an intractable problem with no easy solution.
She's the first person to break her silence in the month of March as to the current state of the negotiations, dog. I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting week, man. Make sure y'all keep y'all bills on, because I don't know if they're going to get the deal done. And I believe at this point, they might be forced to strike. I just hate to see it, but it's definitely looking that way. Like they could be forced to strike. And if that is the case, that just spells a bad recipe for the 2026 season. I want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section right now.
The threat of a strike, once a powerful bargaining chip, quickly turned into a double-edged sword. A strike hurts the WNBPA more than the WNBA. A crucial insight emerged. The fear was that the league could simply pivot to replace players until demands become realistic. This chilling prospect of scabs crossing the picket line, however speculative, added another layer of anxiety for the players and their union, undermining their leverage. The accusations grew harsher, directly attacking the players' perceived loyalty to the league. "Stop trying to fleece a league you don't truly value," one comment read, highlighting a deep resentment. This sentiment suggested that the players' demands were not just ambitious, but were actively harming a league they purportedly represented. It cast a shadow over their commitment, further polarizing the ongoing tense discussions. The notion of a delusional WNBA leadership and player base began to circulate widely. As the March 10th deadline loomed, the possibility of a lockout seemed increasingly inevitable. This growing cynicism from the public put immense pressure on both sides, but especially on the players, whose public image was taking a beating. Plum's statement only solidified these fears, painting a picture of a league on the verge of self-destruction. Indeed, the notion of replacement players is no longer a fringe theory. While not officially confirmed, the whispers have grown louder, creating a really spooky atmosphere around the WNBA. The closer they get to that March 10th deadline, the more concrete this terrifying scenario becomes, adding another layer of existential dread to the already fraught negotiations, making the stakes astronomically high for everyone involved. The owners, for their part, have reportedly laid out their game plan, signaling that the 11th hour is coming. It appears they are not budging, standing firm on their existing offers. As of now, there's no indication that the players are gearing up to sign a deal. This stalemate suggests a prolonged battle, with many fearing that negotiations will inevitably go past the deadline, resulting in a full-blown lockout that cripples the season. A particularly harsh critique surfaced, directly targeting the WNBPA's perceived lack of leverage. The argument was stark. The union would have tons of leverage if they have more than one player who is a big revenue generator. At this point, they only have one. The commentator then delivered a brutal blow, stating, "If Kelsey Plum had a career-ending injury today, that would be no significant hit to any bottom line in the WNBA." This cutting analysis wasn't just a personal attack, it highlighted a fundamental issue for the union. Without multiple, undeniable big revenue generators, their bargaining power is significantly diminished. It suggested that individual player popularity, while valuable, doesn't always translate into collective financial leverage, leaving the WNBPA struggling to justify their demands on purely economic grounds. Kelsey Plum later clarified her position further in another interview, elaborating on the revenue share system. She emphasized, "The biggest things is number one, we're in a revenue share. We fought really hard for that. That's also the hardest part about this, is we're in a revenue share and we're on a time constraint." This reiterated her earlier point, underscoring the immense pressure and the difficult reality of the situation. Despite her attempts to elaborate, the public backlash only intensified. More comments poured in, with one person bluntly calling her a D-Dem cess, reflecting the visceral anger and disappointment from a segment of the fan base. Her statements, regardless of intent, were widely interpreted as undermining the player's position, leading to an onslaught of personal criticism that showed no signs of abating. Ironically, Plum's controversial statements, despite the negative reception, catapulted her into the algorithmic spotlight. She became the first person to break the silence in March regarding the current state of negotiations, making her the unwilling face of this unfolding drama. Her words, whether praised or condemned, ensured that the WNBA's crisis remained at the forefront of sports discussions, for better or worse. The overwhelming sentiment now points towards a forced strike, a scenario many fans dread. If negotiations collapse and a lockout ensues, it spells a bad recipe for the 2026 season, hinting at long-term damage that could ripple far beyond just one missed year. The future of the WNBA, its growth and its stability, hang precariously in the balance, threatened by this very public and very contentious dispute. With only 8 days left, the urgency is palpable. There are no signs that a deal is imminent, and the silence from other key players is deafening. Fans are left to wonder if the season will even happen, or if this current impasse will fundamentally alter the landscape of women's professional basketball. The clock is ticking, and every passing moment pushes the league closer to an uncertain and potentially disastrous future. Kelsey Plum's seemingly candid admission about the WNBA's revenue-sharing reality has ignited a firestorm, pushing the league to the brink. Her words exposed a raw nerve, fueling fan outrage and intensifying the already high-stakes CBA negotiations. As the March 10th deadline looms, her shocking statement now stands as a pivotal moment, forcing everyone to confront the harsh truths and potential devastation that lie ahead for women's basketball.